Hello, I'm Carol Drinkwater. Welcome to my olive farm. This place has given me so much joy, so much inspiration. I set a trilogy of books here called The Olive Farm, The Olive Season, The Olive Harvest. These books are a love story on many levels. They tell the story of finding this wonderful old house, restoring. We have 68 400-year-old olive trees. We have now more than 200 of these young trees. It tells the story of falling in love with this ruined place that we brought back to life, falling in love with the man that I found the place with, Michel, and then planting these trees and discovering the miracle of the olive tree. This is where the series of olive books was created, was dreamed of. This is the ruin that we've brought back to colourful beauty and paradise, I think. These books, there are now 5 of them, I think. The Olive Farm, The Olive Season, The Olive Harvest. A trilogy of books about my falling in love with this beautiful place, the man that I found this place with, Michel, and finally the olives, the olive trees. These trees, these old ones that we found when we cut back the land, we have 68 400-year-old olive trees. Once we began to harvest these and farm them and discovered that we had exceptionally good olive oil, we then planted another 200 small trees which are up on the hillside here, and we were fortunate enough to get what is known as an Appellation d'Origine Contrôlée, an AOC for our olive oil. Look at this. This is one of our young olive trees. It's been pruned for the first time this year, and surprisingly it's bounced back. This is all, if you can see on my hand here, this is the beginning of the flowers, the lacy white flowers that will later become olive fruits. Each of these little tiny budlets will open up and become a tiny white forked flower, and those later, then the nub of that, will become the olives. That's from that we will later create our oil later this year. These trees are about 10 or 12 years old now, and we prune them, as I say, for the first time this year. Behind us are the old giants, the Methuselahs. Those are over 400 years old, those trees. And we have 68 of those on the land, and over 200 now of these small trees. During the years that I've spent here on this wonderful piece of land in the Mediterranean here, farming these trees, I began to ask myself, where does the olive tree come from? Who first farmed it? And I set off on a journey on my own, a quest around the Mediterranean. The first of these 2 books is called The Olive Route, which is set in the Eastern Mediterranean. And the latest book, the one that I'm talking to you about now, The Olive Tree, takes me from France, down through southern France, into Spain, Algeria, Morocco, Algeria, Sicily, and then up through Italy, and back here to the olive farm. The first of these 2 books, The Olive Route, took me around the Eastern Mediterranean, and I found in Lebanon trees that are still fruiting, still being pressed into olive oil, that are 6,000 years old. They've been scientifically dated. So the Olive Route took me far back into history, much further back than I ever dreamed I would go. And then when I set off on this new book, The Olive Tree, which takes me around the Western Mediterranean, I was not quite sure what I could find. I doubted that I'd find trees or clues that are as old as those in the Eastern Mediterranean. And what was extraordinary for me was that as I went down through Spain, I began to look into the future. What is the olive tree doing? What are we doing with the olive tree? Are we industrializing our farming of it? And then I began to discover the gifts that the olive tree actually has. It's an extraordinary organism. Its taproot goes right down into the earth, and in the desert they're using it to help reforest the Sahara, which is an extraordinary concept. But it will help us in our fight to save this planet against climate change, all the modern problems that we're facing right now. The olive tree has a chance, has a possibility, has tools to help us forward. The Olive Tree, the book itself, is set in the springtime Mediterranean. It's a book that faces the problems of today, but also offers 1 or 2 solutions, and it is a book that is full of optimism, colour, citrus groves, and the love and beauty of the Mediterranean.